September 15th, 2025. That's the specific day. The day when the retail silver market stops functioning entirely. Not slowing down, not constrained. Stopped. No dealers taking orders. No inventory available at any price. The day the market dies completely. This isn't speculation. This is mathematical projection based on current deterioration rates. Credit capacity declining 12 to 15% quarterly. Dealer failures accelerating. Supply chain stress compounding. The timeline to total market failure is calculable, and it ends in September. Let me walk you through exactly how we get there. Month by month, milestone by milestone, the cascade of failures that leads from today's constrained market to September's complete collapse. This is the countdown to the day silver dealers stop selling entirely. August 2025. Current state. Credit capacity 70% of January levels. Major dealers delivering 4 to 6 weeks. Premiums $8 to $10 over spot. 3% of dealers deliver under 2 weeks. Market stressed but marginally functional. You can still buy silver with weight and premium. August brings next credit reduction wave. Banks conduct quarterly reviews late July, early August. Based on continued volatility and derivative exposure, they implement another collateral requirement increase. From current 1.30 to 1, banks move to 1.50 to 1. Some hit 1.60 to 1. This 15 to 20% collateral increase translates directly to 15 to 20% dealer buying power reduction. Dealer with 3 million effective credit drops to 2.5 million. Dealer barely at capacity becomes completely unable to source inventory. Mid-August, first major dealer closure. Top 10 national dealer doing over 100 million annual sales. Bank pulls credit facility entirely. Risk management protocols require exit from precious metals financing. Dealer announces ceasing operations within 30 days. This triggers market panic. If $100 million operation can't survive, what about everyone else? Customers rush orders before other dealers close. Demand surge hits already at capacity dealers. They extend delivery to 8 to 12 weeks and increase premiums to $10 to $14. Late August, only absolute largest dealers still taking new orders. APMEX, JM Bullion, SD Bullion, maybe 2 or 3 others. Regional dealers closed or stopped accepting new customers. Local coin shops selling down inventory with no restock plans. Dealer network contracted roughly 40%. September 2025, this is when the real acceleration begins. Early September, another top-tier dealer announces closure. Different bank, same exact story. Credit facility terminated. We've been profitable every quarter. Our payment history is perfect. Doesn't matter. The bank is exiting precious metals, lending category-wide. We're collateral damage. The remaining dealers see the writing on the wall. If 2 major operations failed despite being profitable, nobody is safe. Dealers who are still operating start hoarding whatever inventory they can source. Instead of turning inventory quickly for profit, they hold it as insurance against being unable to restock. This hoarding behavior creates a self-fulfilling shortage. Dealers with inventory won't sell at current prices because they believe prices will be much higher when supply becomes even more scarce. Dealers without inventory can't buy because dealers with inventory won't sell. The market seizes up. By mid-September, delivery times from the remaining major dealers extend to 12 to 16 weeks, 3 to 4 months from order to delivery. Premiums spike to $15 to $20 over spot. At $25 spot prices, you're paying $40 to $45 per ounce, nearly double spot, and waiting 4 months. But it's not the delivery times or the premiums that kill the market. It's what happens on September 12th. September 12th, 2025. APMEX, the largest retail precious metals dealer in America, announces they're temporarily suspending new silver orders. Due to unprecedented supply constraints and uncertainty in our ability to fulfill orders within reasonable timeframes, we are pausing acceptance of new silver orders while we work through our existing backlog. We expect to resume taking orders within 4 to 6 weeks pending improvement in supply conditions. This is the signal the market has been dreading. When APMEX stops taking orders, it means the largest, most well-capitalized, best-connected dealer in America can't source inventory reliably enough to commit to fulfilling new orders. If APMEX can't do it, nobody can. Within 48 hours, JM Bullion follows. Then SD Bullion, then every remaining national dealer. They all issue similar statements. Temporary suspension of new orders, working through backlog, resume when supply improves. But supply isn't going to improve. This is permanent, not temporary. They just can't admit it yet. September 15th, 2025. 3 days after APMEX's announcement. This is the day. The last regional dealers still taking orders announce they're out of inventory and not accepting new orders pending restock. But there is no restock. Wholesalers can't source from refineries. Refineries can't expand production fast enough. The mint is at capacity. There is no source of new inventory that allows dealers to resume normal operations. On September 15th, for the first time in modern history, you cannot place an order for retail silver from any major dealer in the United States. The market has stopped. Not slowed, stopped. What happens next? September 16th to 30th, the aftermath. Spot prices spike. When the retail market stops functioning, the paper silver price becomes meaningless. Futures markets still trade, derivatives still exist, but the connection between paper prices and physical availability breaks completely. Paper silver might trade at $28. But you can't buy physical silver at any price because dealers aren't taking orders. Secondary markets explode. People who own physical silver realize they have something that can't be purchased through normal channels. Private sales between individuals begin commanding premiums of $30 to $50 over spot. Someone wants to sell 50 ounces of silver eagles. They post on forums or local classified ads. Within hours, they have offers at $60 to $75 per ounce, nearly triple spot, because physical in hand is worth more than paper promises when dealers won't sell. Scams proliferate. When legitimate dealers won't take orders, desperate buyers turn to alternatives. Scammers create fake dealer websites, take orders, collect payments, never deliver. The internet fills with complaints about new dealers who took money and disappeared, but there's no recourse because these operations exist for weeks, then vanish. Industrial users panic. Manufacturing companies that need silver for solar panels, electronics, batteries, realize they can't source through normal supply chains. They start calling mines directly, trying to buy raw silver. They contact recyclers paying premiums for scrap silver. They redesign products to use less silver or find alternatives. But redesign takes months or years. They need silver now, and there's nowhere to get it. Government intervention begins. By late September, the situation has escalated enough that federal agencies notice. The Department of Commerce launches an investigation into silver supply chain disruptions. Congress schedules hearings on precious metals market stability. The Mint receives inquiries about increasing production capacity. But government moves slowly. Hearings scheduled for October won't produce recommendations until November. Those recommendations won't be implemented until early next year. By then, the market will have been non-functional for months. Government intervention might eventually help, but it won't help in time to prevent the September collapse. October 2025, 1 month after the market stopped. The situation hasn't improved. It's gotten worse. Dealers who suspended orders in September hoped supply conditions would improve quickly. They're not improving. Wholesalers still can't source. Refineries still can't expand. Credit still isn't available. The temporary suspension becomes indefinite. Some dealers quietly reopen for very limited orders. We'll accept orders from existing customers only. 50-ounce maximum, delivery timeline unknown, payment in advance required, no refunds if we can't fulfill. This isn't normal business. This is rationing to preferred customers at whatever price the market will bear. Premiums in secondary markets reach $40 to $60 over spot. Private sales between individuals are the only reliable way to acquire physical silver. But you're paying triple spot, and you have to verify authenticity yourself. And there's always risk the seller takes your payment and disappears. The remaining local coin shops that have any inventory are selling at premiums of $50 to $80 over spot. But they only have ounces, or tens of ounces, not hundreds. If you want meaningful quantity, you're buying from multiple sources piecing together your target amount. Industrial users are experiencing production delays. Solar panel manufacturers can't get silver for electrical contacts. Production lines slow or stop. Electronics companies face similar constraints. Car manufacturers need silver for EV batteries and can't source it. The supply shortage that started in retail is now affecting industrial production. November 2025, 2 months after market collapse. Credit markets show no signs of improving. Banks that pulled dealer financing aren't returning. The dealers that closed in September aren't reopening. The market structure that existed in August is permanently gone. A few very small dealers managed to limp along by buying from secondary markets and reselling at massive markup. But their volume is tiny, tens of thousands of ounces per month across the entire country. Compare this to August, when dealers were moving millions of ounces monthly. The market's capacity has contracted by 95%. Spot prices have diverged completely from physical availability. Paper silver trades at $32 in futures markets, but physical silver in secondary markets trades at $70 to $90. The paper price means nothing. What matters is what someone will pay for ounces in hand, and that price is 2 to 3 times spot. Government hearings occur in November. Testimony from dealers explaining credit withdrawal, testimony from banks explaining risk management protocols, testimony from industrial users explaining production impacts, testimony from analysts explaining market structure failure. But hearings produce no immediate solutions, just awareness that the problem is serious. December 2025, 3 months after collapse, holiday season. Normally, a high demand period for silver as gifts and investments, but there are no dealers taking orders. The holiday demand that would normally drive robust sales instead drives secondary market prices even higher. Physical silver hits $90 to $110 per ounce in private transactions, 4 times spot. Some people who bought silver in August and September when dealers were still operating decide to sell at these massive premiums. They bought at $8 to $10 premiums in August. Now they can sell at $60 to $80 premiums. The profit is too good to pass up. This creates some supply in secondary markets, but it's still tiny relative to normal market volume. The question people are asking in December, when will dealers reopen? The honest answer, probably never in the form they existed before. The old model of dealers buying wholesale, holding inventory, and selling retail at small markups depended on reliable credit and reliable supply. Both are gone. Even if credit returns, the supply chain disruptions aren't resolving quickly. January 2026, 4 months after the market stopped. New year, no new hope. The situation remains frozen. Dealers that suspended operations haven't reopened. Credit hasn't returned. Supply chains haven't healed. Some dealers make a calculation. We can't operate as high volume, low margin businesses anymore, but we can operate as very low volume, very high margin businesses. They start accepting limited orders at $50 to $70 premiums over spot. Maybe they source 100 ounces per month and sell it at massive markup. This keeps them technically operational. But it's not a functioning retail market. It's boutique sales to wealthy buyers willing to pay any price. Industrial users have adjusted. Some found alternatives to silver, some redesigned products, some secured direct relationships with mines or recyclers. Some simply accepted that they can't manufacture at previous volume levels. The industrial economy has adapted to silver scarcity, but adaptation meant reduced production, higher costs, and delayed product launches. The government's response has been minimal. Some regulatory changes to precious metals derivatives, some investigation into bank lending practices, but no fundamental solution to restore dealer credit or repair supply chains. The market is left to find its own equilibrium. February 2026, 5 months later. This is the new normal. There is no retail silver market in the traditional sense. There are secondary transactions between private parties. There are occasional boutique sales from dealers operating at tiny scale. There are industrial users with direct supply relationships. But the market that existed in August 2025, where you could go online, order silver, and receive it in reasonable time frame at reasonable premium, is gone. Spot prices in paper markets become increasingly meaningless. Futures might trade at $35, but nobody cares because you can't buy physical at that price. The real price is whatever physical trades for in secondary markets, and that's consistently 3 to 4 times the paper price. Some dealers talk about reopening if conditions improve. But conditions aren't improving. Credit isn't returning. Supply chains aren't healing. The fundamental problems that caused the September collapse remain unsolved. And without solving those problems, the old market structure can't be rebuilt. This is the timeline. August stressed but functional. September progressive dealer failures. September 15th, total market stop. October through February failed attempts to recover. By February 2026, acceptance that the old market is gone permanently. The day silver dealers stop selling entirely isn't a single dramatic event. It's a cascade. But if you mark a specific date when the market crossed from constrained to stopped, that date is September 15th, 2025. 3 weeks from now, the countdown is running. And nothing currently happening suggests the timeline will change. The credit isn't returning, the supply chains aren't healing, the dealer network is contracting on schedule. September 15th is coming, and when it arrives, the retail silver market as we know it ends. Every projection in this timeline is based on current deterioration rates. If dealer credit capacity continues declining 12 to 15% quarterly, if bank lending policies don't reverse, if supply chain constraints don't resolve, this is the mathematical outcome, not speculation, projection. You have 3 weeks, 3 weeks before the largest dealers stop taking orders, 3 weeks before the market stops, 3 weeks to decide whether you want to own physical silver sourced through dealers while that's still possible. Because after September 15th, your only option is secondary markets at triple spot, if you can find sellers at all. The countdown is running. September 15th, 2025. The day silver dealers stop selling entirely. The math says it's coming. The timeline says it's inevitable. The only question is whether you'll be ready when it arrives.